Do you know what it truly takes to forgive? I'm not talking about forgetting. I'm talking about looking into the eyes of the one who hurt you and choosing not to carry hate. That's not weakness, that's power. And if there's someone who represents that better than anyone, it's Demet Özdemir. Demet is not just a famous actress in Turkey. She's a woman who has learned to walk through noise, envy, and media pressure without ever losing her balance. Her strength doesn't lie in her words, but in her silence, in her way of moving forward without turning resentment into a flag. And that is rare today. Much has been said about her relationships, past loves, and men who weren't up to the task. Some mistook her forgiveness for weakness. What a mistake. Because when Demet forgives, she does so with wisdom. She doesn't forget. She simply chooses not to destroy herself. She doesn't need to justify how she feels or explain her decisions. She knows how to set boundaries even without raising her voice. She gives second chances, yes, but she's no longer in the business of educating anyone, emotionally or mentally. The man who walks beside her shouldn't dim her light but walk alongside her with dignity. Demet wants respect. She's not looking for decoration. She doesn't need a fairy tale prince because she stopped living in fairy tales. Now she's a queen with her own kingdom, and not just anyone is allowed in. Only those who understand that love also means responsibility. Many see her as a star, but her real shine comes from somewhere else, from her soul, from that tenderness that even pain couldn't extinguish, from her ability to cry with grace, to love without losing her head, and to leave when her heart tells her it's no longer her place. From her ability to cry with grace, to love without losing her head, and to leave when her heart tells her it's no longer her place. Sometimes people ask, did she forgive again? As if it were a flaw. But they don't understand. She doesn't forgive out of weakness. She forgives because she has a deep faith in humanity, because her heart is still pure. And while that makes her vulnerable, it also makes her incredibly powerful. It's not easy to reach a woman like her, because she doesn't grow in the valley. She grows at the summit. And not everyone is made for such heights. When a man arrives who doesn't use her as a trophy, who doesn't see her as a stepping stone, who isn't afraid of her greatness, then maybe Demet will finally rest from carrying the weight of small loves. And on that day, we'll witness something beautiful, not romantic love, but just love. Until then, we, those who admire her from afar, can only continue to be inspired by her journey. Because her way of forgiving reminds us of something essential. Being human still matters. There are names that stand out not just because of the characters they play, but for what they represent. Yaman is one of those names. He's not just an actor, he's a law graduate, a polyglot, a disciplined athlete, and a figure that transcends the screen. A rare mix of talent, intellect, and charisma. Every time he walks the streets of Italy, he's not alone. Crowds follow him. It's not fleeting admiration, it's devotion. A phenomenon reminiscent of the Elvis Presley craze. But Can doesn't get dazzled. He stays grounded, respectful of his roots, and takes his career seriously. His success is no coincidence. Behind it lies years of study, dedication, and strong self-discipline. When he chose acting over practicing law, it wasn't on a whim. It was a calling. And today, every scene he performs proves it. In shows like Erken Çıkış, Bay Yanlış, Viola come il mare, and the highly anticipated Sandokan, Can doesn't just act. He turns scripts into living emotions. With just one look, he makes audiences feel, connect, and resonate. He doesn't just play characters. He gives them a soul. But his radiance doesn't fade when the cameras stop. In interviews, events, and social media, he always conveys the same energy. Confidence without arrogance, elegance without pretense. He has found a rare balance to be a public figure without losing his authenticity. The fashion world has also embraced him. He has worked with major brands, yet he still stands out. He doesn't pose just to pose. Every image, every gesture tells a story. For him, beauty is a form of expression, not a goal. For him, beauty is a form of expression, not a goal. And beyond the media spotlight, he guards something sacred, his privacy. Though his love life has sparked speculation, he has chosen quiet dignity. Not because he doesn't love, but because his greatest love story is with his art, with his audience, and with the freedom to be himself. Yaman doesn't just act, he creates, reinvents, and moves people. Instead of repeating formulas, he chooses the harder road, the one that leaves a mark. That's why it's no surprise his fame keeps rising. Because what he carries inside can't be taught, it's innate. Watching him on screen isn't just watching a series. It's entering a universe where dreams still feel possible. Because Yaman doesn't just portray fantasies, he brings them to life. Today, when I see Demet in new projects, interviews, or even in everyday moments, I no longer associate her with any romantic past. I see her as a strong performer, a woman with her own voice, someone who has made brave decisions in an environment where compliance is often expected. And I believe that's her greatest achievement. She doesn't need to explain herself. Her actions speak for her. While some are still waiting for statements or a reconciliation story, I prefer to focus on what truly matters, the journey of a woman who has learned to reinvent herself, who moves forward without clinging to the past, who knows that success isn't about pleasing everyone, it's about staying true to yourself. And today, that's a radical statement. I remember when many still constantly linked her to Khan. It seemed unfair, as if they couldn't see all she had already built on her own. But over time, Demet has made it clear. Her story doesn't need any man's shadow to be told. Her light is hers, and it shines with the strength of choices made from the heart. I also admire how she connects with her audience. The genuine closeness. The words of love, the supportive messages, the emojis, the blessings, they're not just fan gestures, they're real affection. Because when someone can awaken that in so many people, it means they're real. And if you ask me what I expect from her in the future, I'd say, keep doing exactly what she's doing. Stay true to herself. Don't stop. Don't listen to the doubters. Keep turning everything she touches into art. Because there are many actresses, but women like Demet with that rare balance of sensitivity and strength are precious.